Hey everybody, it is Jeff here on a Tuesday 11 p.m. making a little bit of a quick video. I'm probably not going to finish this up until tomorrow. I was out, went and picked up a bunch of buttons. Got a really good deal on these buttons, and I'll be sifting through them to see what's all in there. I really just bought them, didn't even really look in there. It was a gentleman's wife's father who had passed, and there's probably, I don't know, 700 to 900 different buttons in there, or more, maybe more than 1,000. And I really enjoy selling buttons. I know they're not the best, they're long tail, and I'm going to be getting into some of that in a little bit. I want to read a couple comments from a viewer, which I think really sheds some light on the new eBay. And I think anybody who's been selling on eBay, for over 5 years, we can all agree that so much has changed on eBay, and it's debatable. Is it good? Is it bad? Does it depend on the viewpoint? Of course. I don't think it's good for me, and I don't necessarily know if it's just good in general. And I don't think we're gonna know probably for a while, and I'll get into that. But before I do, I'm gonna talk a little bit about sales, and I wanna talk a little bit about, I think I touched upon this, but I'm gonna be scaling back on doing kind of like what sold videos. I think there's disadvantages, unspoken disadvantages to doing what sold videos. It's not necessarily that I think I'm going to be sharing things that other people are going to take and kind of put me out of business. I do believe there is that, and there is that possibility. But that's only half of the reason why I think I'm going to scale back doing what sold videos. And I think having a YouTube channel and being a reseller can put you in the crossfire. And we don't know what happened with Commonwealth. I remember a time where Dave, ADH Dave, was talking about, when he was NC Flipper, and he was talking about rebranding. Man, there's this noise that was going off the other night. Screw it. Anyhow, he was talking about rebranding, and he mentioned what he was going to do, and then somebody went out and they either bought that domain, like it had to have been a viewer, because it was like so obscure that no one would just go out and buy that, or maybe it was they went out and they got that YouTube name. I don't remember, but as a YouTube. As anybody who's on YouTube, you put yourself in the crossfire. And, a couple weeks ago, I was kind of questioning whether or not I even think having a YouTube channel is worth it. Like, yes, I like having a voice, because I think oftentimes things need to be said. And I think dialogues need to happen. And I think, having had this channel for a very short time, I think it's approaching 4 months in a week, and talking and back and forth with a lot of you guys, I think it's very evident that we lead very solitude lives. We really do feel excluded and like on our own, and it's difficult when you're going through something to not have somebody to bounce things off of. So I'm going to continue, obviously. I'm going to continue. But I think the content of my channel will change over time. I'm still a baby on YouTube, right? And we'll see what happens, and hopefully the evolution is good. But I do want to just disconnect my stores from my YouTube channel. And I never did this for people to buy from my stores. That was never my intent. So I just see no point in having my store connected to my YouTube channel. and I see no value, and so I can't really do what sold videos because of that, because I could sell something very obscure, and then you can just easily go look at what sold and find me that way, right? And many of you know my channel, my store, so it's but I think my channel is still relatively small enough that I don't know. I'm going to continue on YouTube. Like, I don't want to be some controversial figure, but I think some things need to be said. For example, like, for the life of me, I cannot understand why people thumb down my videos. Like, it's just one person telling their experience of things, but it happens. And I don't understand why why there's not dialogue as to like what it is people don't like about it. And I'll probably never know, right? But anyhow, so this is not going to be a controversial video. This is just going to be me talking about my day, talking about some offline sales, talking about some thoughts about local sales. And I want to share with you a new scam on Facebook Marketplace that I experienced today. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the direction of where one viewer gave some insight that he got about where where some of the changes that we're seeing in eBay, how it fits in their grand scheme. And then we'll talk whether or not if we think it'll work, right? Because all these things that they're doing right now, it's going to remain to be seen whether it's actually going to work. And I have some thoughts on that as well. So about the buttons, today the person came and picked up those IKEA lights that I showed you. It was actually a decent day of local sales. I had 3 other local sales and another brutal day on eBay. Up until 90 minutes ago, my local sales were outpacing I had one eBay sale, and I had the IKEA lights. I had a Banana Republic sweater that I sold for $20 that I didn't really pay anything for. It was my son-in-law's. You'll see that in the video. Oh no, I didn't take a video. So yeah, it was just a blue sweater knitted. Yeah, it just wasn't worth it to sell on eBay because it was heavy. Banana Republic is not really a good brand. And yeah, and then I buy my printer rolls in bulk, and they're not cheap. Like, printer rolls are not that cheap. And I buy enough of them that I end up selling, like, I'll throw some up on Marketplace, like a pair for a certain amount. And today, 2 of them sold for $25. And if I do that a couple, like 3 times, it almost pays for half of what I buy when I buy them in bulk. So it's like that's one way to cut down my expense that way. And then I sold, what else was the last thing? Oh, I sold a skull that looks something a little like this. I like Day of the Dead kind of things, but it was a little bit bigger, and he might end up, so I sold that for $20, and I ended up just setting that outside my place. And sometimes when it's like small items, small dollar figures, I'll just set them outside. If the person wants to rip me off and not pay, well, it's never happened. It's never happened so far. But sometimes with local deals, it's timing. You kind of got to make it easier on them. We were an hour away from our place tonight when he wanted to come, so it's just like, I'm just gonna set this outside. And yeah, he transferred the money, and yeah, so. And then tomorrow, somebody's coming to buy this for $8. I just want it gone. I'm not a handy person. I think I've alluded to this, or I've mentioned my wife next week is going to Australia to be with our middle child who's having a child. She's going to be there for a while. So I've got like plans to really, buckle down and get to work. And kind of clean up this place, get organized. I've got goals in my mind of things I want to accomplish, and definitely listing more locally is one of my pivots to what is going on with eBay, because like I said, up until an hour ago, I was outselling on my local sales for what I sold on eBay. And then I had one guy come in and buy, right now he's at 19 comics. And it's like a nice $130 order, and he hasn't even started shopping on my other store yet. So I've kind of given him a really good deal on shipping and handling to encourage more. He's buying a lot of low dollar stuff, but it adds up over time. So it was nice to see that come in. But had it not been for this guy, I don't know what's going on with eBay. Like, my store definitely feels unnaturally slow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Maybe eBay is just, they're blackballing me right now. I don't know. But I know what my typical daily sales should be like before all this crap's happened. So, my pivot, sell things more locally. That's kind of what I'm going to do for right now, and kind of see if this sorts itself out, or if this is the new eBay. If it's the new eBay, then I'll make some changes then. But for now, I'm having some success with a lot of local sales. But now I'm also wondering if that's going to change as the weather kind of starts to shift. It gets crappy, so we'll see how that goes. It was really nice in the summer, with the eBay slowdown, with my local sales really picking up. What else? Yes, the Facebook scam. So this is another thing that's really super annoying about marketplaces. For some reason, I don't know what these guys are thinking. I don't know. I know why. I know why they do what they do, but at the same time, it's like, so again, today somebody messaged me and said that they wanted to send me the money in advance. They wanted to e-transfer me the money, and they sent me this like a QR code, like an image on my phone, and they were like, scan it, or actually they sent. Well, it would have shown up on my computer messenger. They're like, scan it with your phone. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that. And I messaged them. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I don't feel comfortable with this. So maybe cash is the best way to go. Boom, gone. Left the chat. As soon as I said that, gone. But that was the first time that I've ever heard that. And then later on tonight, well, I guess this is a good opportunity to show you my wife's recent. She just finished this painting. It's acrylic on wood. The reason why I'm showing you this is because this was the item that another scammer was trying to scam me out of. So this guy he's kind of learning, because he actually created a little bit of a profile, which I briefly looked at it, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's a member of these groups, and he's got some pictures, and he's got some friends. He looks legit, but then he's like messaging me, and he's asking questions about the painting. He was inquiring about this, and I had just listed this today. Now I don't know what it is about just listing something. It's like you're throwing chum in the water, and the sharks are just waiting there. As soon as a new listing goes up, they jump on it. I don't understand. Like, that's almost like an immediate red flag. An immediate red flag. So scammers, if you're out there, Facebook Marketplace scammers, if you're out there, don't immediately inquire about something right after somebody posts it. Because honestly, 99% of them are scammers. So, give it some time. Maybe focus on some older items. Like that would actually make more sense. If I've had something listed for a couple months and then I get an inquiry, I'm really hungry to move that item. So maybe focus on the older items. So he messages me and he's like, how long have you had this? And I'm like, I think I even told him, I'm like, my wife just finished painting this. He's like, okay. He's like, well, when can I come? And I'm like, well, I'm not home right now because I was, and I do have a little bit of footage I'm going to be adding of because this dude had some cool stuff, and he's got some things that I might go back for, but because things aren't moving on eBay, I got a really killer deal on these buttons. And you guys have seen me move all kinds of buttons. And for, decent money compared to what you get them for. So, yeah, this dude had some really cool, he had some cars and so there's some footage. And he had other things that I would have been interested in. He had these prints that I really think would be a killer deal. He's really wanting to move these things. But with eBay sales the way they are, I don't really feel comfortable putting like a lot of money, making any new large investments. I really just want to focus on, listing and the stuff that I have, which I have a ton of, and then listing and cross-listing the things. Like, I have a total different strategy in terms of the things so anything that's over £1, I'm cross-listing locally. Anything that, I don't know, it's like, every time I list something on eBay, it's like half of it, or more than half of it, it's just for eBay. But I'm starting to widen the things that I'm considering selling locally, because I have had so much success like that. So yeah, so the footage, the scam. So he was like, okay, so I'll e-transfer you the money, and I'm like, okay, because he some people do that. Now that's also another red flag, scammers. Being too eager to send money, it's something I wouldn't do. And if I wouldn't do it, I'm definitely questioning why someone else wants to do it. So then he's like, did you get it? I'm like, no. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, sometimes it takes 10, 15 minutes. He's like, okay. I'm like, you can send me a screenshot. Like, at this point, I'm like totally like just assuming. And I felt really bad because my wife, she hasn't, when you are a new artist, nobody knows you exist. So she hasn't actually sold anything yet. And I felt bad because I kind of got her hopes up. So I'm really kind of annoyed at this particular scammer because, I next time I'm just going to not tell her. Because I kind of, like I said, I initially thought that he was legit. And I'm like, well, you could send me a screenshot of the transaction number, and then I'll know that it went through, and then we can definitely meet up tomorrow. And then nothing. And then he's like, how about now? Did you get it? So it's like, I don't really understand. And then eventually he just left. And at that point, obviously, that's all the more confirmation that I know. Like, had he sent money, he's not just going to leave the chat. Okay, so 2 videos ago, there was a lot that happened this weekend. I wanted to do this video yesterday, but there was just too much to cover yesterday. So JetFixer6546 left 3 very short comments on the one post. Not post. I'm still thinking in terms of blogs. On the one video that I did, it says, eBay is punishing resellers for the model that built it. Diversity should be the backbone of selling. So the whole point of that title is that I believe that people that have large stores are being punished because they don't have high sell-through rates. And the ability to go onto eBay and to find unique items that are just difficult to find anywhere else, that's what made eBay what it is. And I feel like now eBay just is all concerned about, sell-through rates and having things sell fast. And the truth of the matter is there's only a finite amount of things with high sell-through rates. And so they're creating a culture of competition amongst sellers. And who is the big benefactor of that is eBay. They are, through their promoted listings, they're basically pushing, sellers are always going to be in competition with each other, but now they're even more competition with each other, which is gonna, in my opinion, it's gonna cause problems, with the whole buyers reporting buyers thing. People who are in direct competition will do anything to get a leg up. And I just think that, that any buyer that reports another buyer because they're trying to edge out their competition is just like, because someone can do that to you. Like, you don't want somebody to do that to you, so why would you do that to somebody else? But so he left 3 short comments, and he goes, I noticed a fair question on my post. If you're watching this, Jet Fixer, are you talking about the post here? Yes, you are. It's from a mid-level. My info is from a mid-level team member, so I'm guessing he knows somebody from eBay who's mid-level. That's good to have that information. She is also a seller, and I find the eBay reps who also sell on the side to be the most sympathetic to our issues. Due to signing an NDA agreement, that's about it. The only other thing to add is that she told me to consider an alternative way of selling my low demand items, which is about 60% of my small store. She's having yard sales and has a flea market table one Sunday a month to purge all her long tail. So I'm not sure if Jet Fixer, okay, sorry. Let me back up. This should have been the first one. Okay, so here is the reality. Everyone is right. The changes on the platform started in April. This is the beginning of implementation of the new updates in large scale quantities. Temporarily, your account is assigned a tier level based on demand of goods being sold, sell-through rates. The concept prioritizes higher demand items to ensure revenue streams. Lower demand items are in queue and are used to fill it when there is a reduction in quantity of higher demand items. So it sounds like to me that if you sell long tail items, you're only going to get sales when eBay needs you to get sales. And you know what? If that's the reality, then that's the reality, right? And then that comment. The platform gives sellers a minimum average a month based on demand in your assigned tier. This is why you can have no sales and then have a lot of sales. The algorithm is trying to fulfill your average sales for your tier. Unfortunately, the lower demand items are lower in queue. If you can, step back and recognize the platform goals when the new CEO took the helm. You are now seeing the implementation of his goals. The big push for higher quality items and reduce the flea market stigma. And then his final comment, try to look at the situation this way. Would you use your data storage capacity to sell low demand items or high demand items? The problem now is a lot of sellers have large inventories of low demand items that will sell sporadically, but not like the old days of slapping up some stuff and applying the larger full than I theory. The volume game is definitely on the way out. Okay, here are my thoughts. There was something. Define low demand items, because it sounds like eBay is the one making the determination of what low demand items are. And they're controlling the sale of those low demand items. Based on this information, we do not have a free market within eBay. eBay is determining the market, and they may be wrong. Like, consider that. I have often wondered if data capacity, data storage would ever be an issue that eBay would want to limit essentially how many items a seller could list on their platform. Now, they give away a ton of free listings, so it's almost like they want us to list stuff. And it's almost like they're punishing us for sellers doing the very thing that they wanted us to do. And now they're backpedaling, and now they're like, they're not admitting to manipulating the market within eBay. So what do? If this is the case, if you have a store with a lot of items like myself, and they're not high sell-through rates, then your store, my store, is going to suffer, and it has been suffering. So that kind of fits with what JetFixer is saying he is hearing through his sources. Okay, so I want to read the comment. I just went back to JetFixer's first post, and Kaylor Bricks, it's funny, his comment is exactly what I just said. So this was the comment that caused JetFixer to do 3 more posts. So Kaylor Bricks says, what you're saying makes sense. And where did you find this information? Was it an earnings call or something? And why would they not just come out and say that? And who defines in demand? Which is exactly what I just said. So Kaylor and I are thinking along the same exact lines. Every item I removed from eBay has since sold on one platform or another. Regardless of what they think they are doing, they are sinking their own ship. Not being hateful or rude. Like I said, it makes perfect sense, and I applaud the depth of your statement. So Kaylor is appreciating JetFixer's information, as do I, and I appreciate both of you guys, as I appreciate all of you guys as well. I want to make this a place where we can agree to disagree, or disagree to agree, or I don't really know what I'm saying here, but I think all opinions are welcome. But the crux of all of this is, we don't know if this is actually going to work. Like I said, there's only so many in-demand items out there to sell. And what if that's not enough income for eBay? And then they're going to try to backfill with the low end items. They're going to throw sellers a bone. But the thing is that people are leaving. People are cross-listing. People are leaving eBay. They can't rely on them. And so I think for me, and I also think too that for those of us who stay at eBay, or retain, and as crazy as it is to even just think that, given all the crap that's going on, I have to believe on some level that those of us who kind of stay may benefit from people leaving. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it won't. What are your thoughts on that? And so, because part of me thinks that this strategy won't work. I have to believe eBay is bleeding earnings right now. I cannot see any situation. You know what? Maybe they're not. Maybe, Maria often, she has this saying that she says, the opposite is often correct. So maybe the opposite of what I'm thinking is correct, which is maybe their earnings are going to be stellar. But given the negative talk, the negative attitude, the amount of people that are cross-listing, and that is taking money out of eBay, although, people who are on Posh and Mercari, and they're cross-listing eBay, so eBay is getting money from that, so maybe that's a bit of a wash. And maybe the people that are leaving, eBay is making up those sales through other sellers. So it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how this all plays out. But what JetFixer says, from the standpoint of the things that are going on, the moves that eBay has been putting in place, the lack of traffic, lack of visibility, lack of offers that we have the ability to send definitely feels like we are ranked in some sort of tier. Definitely food for thought. Never have I heard this particular information put out anywhere. So, having said that, what do you guys make of that? Let's have a dialogue from here. Do you guys think eBay's strategy is going to work? Do you think that it's going to, piss off sellers and they're going to go, they're going to, take their toys and go somewhere else? Possible. Yeah. So, after this, there's going to be a little bit of footage. I think I actually have enough to just wrap this video up and post it tomorrow, or late tonight, depending on, so my wife is putting together a little something, and I don't know if she wants to put it up on tonight or not. So anyhow, hope your guys' sales are going well. Peace and blessings to you all, and we will see you soon. Oh, I almost forgot. I missed the stop button. Feed that YouTube algo, please, please, please. If you like this stuff, like, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe if you're not. Almost at 1,000 subs, and that's where the fun begins. So take care, guys. Collect them.
Yeah, resell them, trade them, and all that.
Got the Barbie mobile here.
No, I understand.
Oh, you got lots of cool stuff.
Yeah, come on in here if you like. There's
Wow.
tons of stuff in here. This is all my wife's dad's stuff. Like my RV garage is still full. We're still going through boxes of stuff. But I remember putting these buttons there about 3 or 4 years ago, so the bags are going to be desperate. There's old cast iron stoves, like you actually see one right there. There's old models, there's old teacups and pedal cars and musical instruments.
Are those business cards framed, or what are those?
Those are car shows. Every time you go to a car show, you get what's called a plaque to show that you're at the car show.
Uh-huh.
So that's what those are.
Hey, look.
These cars are so cool. Hi.
You got the Barbie mobile.
Oh my gosh. I had a little pedal car like this.
Oh, did it? Yeah.
When I was a kid.
Which one? That one?
No, it was red. It was like...
The Volkswagen?
No, it was newer than these, but it was a pedal car and I rode it around and around the house and the yard.
Well, you're lucky because when I was a kid, I didn't have a pedal car. I'd always see the kids going to school and all that. They had pedal cars.
Rode these to school?
No. Just when I was a kid, there's always competition. It's basically what it was. There was the rich kids and the poor kids. Well, I was in the poor kid category.
Well, I don't know if I was in the rich kid. I was in the Philippines though, so I don't even know where
You're Filipino?
Yeah.
Good for you.
I don't know where my grandpa
You're a
got
nurse?
it. Sorry?
You're a nurse?
No.
Tell the Philippine girls.
I know.
They always go in the healthcare system and all that, and really nice people.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it is. Just the Philippines just seem to have a totally, absolute different attitude than Canadian American people. They're